What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reacting a video by Charlie. This is Vince McMahon documentary isn't what I thought it was to be. So you mean to tell me Vince McMahon make a fucking documentary? I know this is going to be a train wreck. And if so, is it out yet? Like, is it really out? So if it has, I want another review. I want to know what people think of it. So we're just gonna get into this video.
A new documentary just dropped on Vince McMahon. It's called Mr. McMahon. And even before it came out, like a day before it came out, Vince posted a statement on Twitter addressing it. His statement basically says he doesn't have any regrets, which is what everyone with regrets says. You stinkify your ass and then pretend it doesn't bother you and it's actually just part of your master plan. He goes on to say that he thought he was going to be participating in an objective story about his life, but it turns out it was all a misrepresentation, misleading using editing tricks and out-of-context footage, smoke and mirrors to distort viewer perception. It's all a bunch of hooey. They trapped you in a genjutsu to make you not like Vince McMahon. When I heard...
So people just came out of nowhere and said you did wreck this shit. It was all edited, it was all fake and staged. Now don't get me wrong, people do that because it's the internet. Especially technology has been advanced, but not that too advanced. But yeah, it's advanced enough for people to create fake stories. I understand that. But it's like, Vince, come on, how long you been running WWE? Since what? 25, more than 25 years? Then years? You mean to tell me not one person that you are hired and fired, you haven't done anything bad to him? Are you sure about that? Like, come on, you must have done something behind the scenes. Ain't no fucking way.
I heard he made this statement immediately trying to, like, cushion the blow of how bad this documentary must make him look. I went into this expecting a very scathing deep dive into a lot of the deplorable shit Vince McMahon is guilty of doing.
Right.
There's a lot of allegations, there's a lot of accusations.
And plus, you Vince McMahon, I wouldn't expect you to be this holy, nice guy.
Terrible, horrible shit he is guilty of. And I thought this documentary was going to be getting into the weeds of all of it. Especially because not only did Vince
Of course not. They're gonna edit this shit, Charlie.
McMahon put out that statement, he apparently even tried to purchase the documentary so it would never see the light of day. So he was like actively trying to bury it, according to some sources. So I was like, holy shit, this must blow the lid wide open here. I really thought this documentary was gonna fucking stone cold stunner Vince and finally show to the whole world just what a massive piece of shit he is. He has done so much illegal, deplorable, unforgivable trash throughout his career that it is shocking he is not behind bars. And I thought this documentary was going to aim to tell that side.
The same thing that I said, the similar thing that I said, the same thing about the whole Mr. B situation. Like, I kind of feel like in order to take down, like, rich, big-ass people, it's like you need to have a whole army. Like, it's gonna take a lot of that to bring them down. So, it's like, you can, a person just can't be like, ooh, Mr. McMahon did this and now he gonna be behind bars just like that. Like, I don't think that's not how it works. Like that. Especially the law in this system in this country is fucked.
To highlight all of those things. Go over the rape allegations, go over all of the sexual harassment, the sexual abuse, all kinds of horrible things Vince McMahon has been accused of over the years. I thought this was a documentary that was going to be dropping bombs and going really in depth on all of it with new information. But it doesn't. It's not that kind of documentary. It mentions them, it talks about them briefly, and lets Vince have his statement on his perspective with all the lawsuits that he's been engaged with over the decades. I really thought this documentary was focusing on that element. Like, that's the impression that I got from all of it, but that's not at all what it is. This docuseries is mainly telling the story of the rise of the WWF and how it became the juggernaut that it is today with the WWE. It talks about Vince as being a ruthless businessman and everything he did to not only grow wrestling, but grow the WWF into what it is now. It's like a journey through wrestling, through through the years with Vince McMahon at the helm, leading the charge and everything.
And here's the thing, I kind of feel like there is a rule of being a millionaire or even a billionaire that it's a rule that you have to follow and become one of those things. Like you have to do people wrong in order to climb up that ladder. So it's like I never hear stories about a millionaire or billionaire that just rise up in fame without doing no harm to no people. It's just like I never hear stories like that in my life. Not that I know of.
Battled and overcame in order to grow the company. And it sprinkles in a lot of the awful shit like sexual abuse, like rape, in a couple of instances through some episodes, but it's never the focus. And I really thought it would be. Now, it's not bad by any means at all. Like, it's a fine documentary, but it's mainly for people that don't know anything about wrestling or Vince McMahon. Like, this is...
That's the
what I
new
would say,
generation
like,
right
an
there.
introductory course to the lore of Vince McMahon and wrestling. Like, it gives you little tiddlywinks, little bits and pieces, appetizers.
Like a teaser.
Of the controversy, the awful shit Vince has done, as well as controversy in wrestling and controversy when growing wrestling, this and that. But it's not really like a slam dunk piece on Vince McMahon. It's not really there challenging Vince McMahon on a bunch of things. They do occasionally challenge him on a couple of his...
So it's like what Charlie's saying is like I think we're saying like it is deep, but not like deep to where we can just be like, oh. So I get what you mean.
Statements in the documentary, but that's not what this docuseries is about. And in their defense, at least to a certain extent, this was filmed, like the interviews, most of them, and a lot of the information was filmed before the most recent set of allegations were made public. The Janelle Grant lawsuit. That's the one with all the extremely graphic detail and the sex trafficking information, the stuff with all the poopy, which became a big talking point, all the feces and the defecation, and just all the really depraved acts of Vince McMahon that were discussed with the Janelle Grant lawsuit. This took place before that. It is mentioned in the documentary at the beginning as well as hinted at a little bit towards the end, and then the final episode has a little bit more on it, but it never really like fully dives into it or talks about it at length in the documentary. But it does just give you like the basis of it as opposed to giving you a deep dive on it. And I guess I just went in there under the wrong pretense. Like, I do think people that know nothing about it will walk away like, damn, this guy really is a villain. And man, the story of wrestling is crazy. But to anyone
not
that,
only he's a villain character on TV, he's like that in real life. Like I kind of feel like it's pretty obviously and pretty safe to say that he is. I mean, like it doesn't take that much brain cells to figure out what like Vince.
that knows anything about wrestling and anything about Vince McMahon, there's nothing new here. Except for the interviews. The interviews were pretty insightful. They don't offer new information, but hearing from someone like Vince McMahon directly is fascinating because it's like hearing from somebody that was born without feeling. Like, this is a guy with no remorse and no ability, I believe, to even feel an emotion other than ambition and greed. Like, that is everything, every fiber in his fucking DNA, and nothing else. No love, no sympathy. He is like the devil. One of the best examples of this is when the documentary brings up the alleged rape of Rita Chatterton. Rita Chatterton was a female referee in the WWF that accused Vince McMahon of raping her and went to a lawsuit. And the interviewer during the documentary
I think I heard about
brings
that.
this up to Vince McMahon in his perspective. He claims it was consensual. And then I wrote this next part down verbatim. Because this shit was stunning. Like, this shit, a lightning bolt would have been as shocking as what Vince McMahon said next. After claiming it was consensual, he said, had it been rape, the statute of limitations had worn off. I'll read that one more time for a little double take. A replay on the Jumbotron.
Right.
Had it been rape, the statute of limitations had worn off. Yeah, that sounds like something an innocent man would say. Yeah, Certainly a not guilty person would say something like that, right? When I tell you I was so surprised I almost squeaked out a fart from my butt cheeks, I'm not lying. I couldn't believe
Charlie.
I just heard him say that. Oh, no, it was consensual. Had it been rape, the statute of limitations had worn off.
If it was consent, then why the hell we should file a lawsuit against you? I mean, no, I'm not going to film. Like I said, if it was consent, then why in the hell we should do a lawsuit against you? I mean, some people file a lawsuit against other people for the stupidest reason that's not even really a crime. I can understand that, but I kind of feel like in this situation right here, it is like, I don't think she would do that. To me, in my opinion. Ain't no fucking way.
Start off anyway. Oh yeah, shit out of luck, pal. Sorry about that. Now, rape that, though, it wasn't that, but if it was, there's not much you can do about it.
I went back and rewatched it just to make sure that I got the verbiage correct. It turns out I was a little off. What he said was, it was consensual, and actually, had it been rape, the statute of limitations had ran out. It's all kinds of crap like that that people are digging up to try and have on you. Or to try and find something on you, I think is what it was. Like that's the whole statement, that's the context. It's not like it's an out of context statement. And what preceded it was, he was talking about how, like, he's been accused of so many things like rape that, he doesn't even, like, really pay it much of a mind anymore. So he just talks about this so nonchalantly. So even though the information there isn't new, that allegation of Vince McMahon raping Rita has been around for a long time. It is a new lens on it because now Vince weighs in. And, wow, he expertly weighs in on it. Man, what a guy. But,
and let me tell you something. It's pretty obviously, like, if you put two and two together, like, it's pretty obviously ain't no fucking way. It's not just Vince. I'm pretty sure his family knows all the shit that he did, including Stephanie and Shane McMahon. Like, it's in Triple H. All these people, I know they're behind this also. Like, they probably done some shady shit to people too. Ain't no fucking way. It's just on Vince. Ain't no way.
Yeah, overall, there's no new info per se in it, but it is definitely interesting to hear the interviews and perspectives of, some of the best wrestlers of all time, and Vince McMahon himself directly talking about some of this shit. There's also a lot of, like, moments in the documentary where Vince McMahon says something, and then the
And I'm pretty sure
there's
there's a lot of NDAs signed.
how Vince McMahon just can't stop fucking lying most of the time. Like, you can't trust anything that comes out of his mouth, like, at all. So Vince McMahon will blatantly lie about something in the documentary, then played like a clip that immediately contradicts what he said, which I appreciate, and that does, like, critique him and criticize and challenge him to a certain extent. I just thought that was going to be most of the content of the documentary, and it's not. That's just a component of it. The bulk of the documentary is again on the rise of WWF and the ascension into this multi-billion-dollar company and all the controversies that led to it, and all the business decisions that led to it, and all the people involved, not just Vince. So I do want to
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not just Vince.
But it's one I went into with the wrong perception of what I was going to be watching. Anyway, though, just kind of wanted to talk about that. Vince McMahon is a huge piece of shit. I do recommend at least watching this to get the basics on some of the horrible shit, not even the full story on all of his crimes and awful, horrible, unforgivable shit that he's done over the years, but it's at least a good Cliff Notes version of it. So yeah, that's really...
Yeah, I'm not doing all that. But just like I'm saying, it's my opinion. I'm just speculating, just like Charlie. But it's like, come on now. I know what fire looks like when I see it. But anyway, yeah, go subscribe to Charlie. Go subscribe to his Instagram, Twitter, and all that. And I want you to follow my page also. And go subscribe to me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I want to let you guys know in the comments below what you guys think of this whole Vince McMahon documentary situation. And I will see you guys next time. Until then, take care.